What's up, y'all? It's TTC, aka ThunderConductor, and we back here for another YouTube video and Twitch stream. If you're on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring the bell. If you're on Twitch, make sure you follow and ring the bell. I got a question for y'all. What was your favorite new commander from the Final Fantasy set for cEDH? Some people are gonna say, hey bro, Kefka, come on. Hand disruption on our opponents, discard outlet for ourselves, plus we get to draw more cards? What more could you ask for? Some people gonna say, nah, bro, that Noctis is crazy, man. You just win with the Commander, Aetherflux, and Mox Diamond. You just bow up the table with 50 life. Come on, you just laser beam the table. But some people gonna say, nah, bro, what about Vivi? Izzet Storm already was back with Ral, but now you got Vivi as another alternate option, whether you go turbo or mid-range. It's crazy, man. What's going on, fellas?
What's up?
Oh, tell me something good. How y'all feeling? Tell me something good.
Not bad. We were just talking about how Sephiroth is about to walk all over this table.
Oh, gosh.
Oh yeah. That's exactly how it was.
That's what we said.
That's what he was saying to us.
That's what everybody said.
Where's she?
As soon as you left, I just started dick flopping and
Hey, well, with that said, let's do some introductions. Let's start off with Sephiroth, aka Dan the Handyman. Talk to us, brother.
What's up, guys? I'm back again to mold a 3 and lose to T, which has become the anthem of my life. But no. Okay, so today we're bringing a fringe brew. We're on Sephiroth. I'm sure you guys have seen this, like, talked, the whispers on the wind about whether or not it's viable. We're gonna prove it today or disprove it. But either way, it's gonna be fun. I'm Dan. I'm cEDH Network. I mainly do deck techs right now, but you can find me doing a bunch of cEDH stuff and grinding tournaments. If you guys want to follow me, here's the libel, and I'm very excited and happy to be here.
All right, next up, Bisy Baxon.
What's up, everybody? Bisy Baxon. I'm playing Kefka, the Court Mage today. This deck is not a bad deck. Sons of Guns. This is not a bad deck. In fact, so I believe in this card so much that I went and made a Kefka Discord called Kefka's Tower.
Okay.
And in there, we're already up to a little over 120 people in the server.
Cool.
So we have a bunch of different brew paths that are going on. So we've got a Reanimator path, we've got a Tempo path, a mid-range path, a Turbo path, and that's something to check out. But tonight, we will see how Tempo Kefka goes out, and we'll see how it goes.
Cool.
Why don't you just play Blue Farm?
Oh, why do I just play Blue Farm?
Not the why did you just play Blue Farm?
Blue Farm, it would be good if it did something more than just draw cards, right?
Yo.
And last but not least, let's talk to our brother Caleb. Talk to us, brother.
All right, I'm Caleb. I run a channel called Deck Tech for Decks, and we're playing Vivi. We're running mutate creatures, and I'm going to convince these people it's good and not fringe.
Cool. Hey, if you're looking for ways to support the channel, we have a plethora, starting off with our TC community that is free to join on Discord. Check the link down in the bio to be able to talk about the new spoilers, talk about your awesome Meta Buster brews, as well as jam some super awesome games with the community and with TTC. But if you want to be able to support me in some additional ways, more financial based, but you want to say, hey T, I want some more perks, check out the link in the bio to join the Thunder Legion Patreon community. That is an amazing way to be able to say, hey T, I want to be able to play on your live streams, get shout outs on your YouTube videos and streams, as well as free proxies and discount codes. I want to give a humongous shout out to our mono red tier patrons, Wavy Ashira, Bisy Baxon, and B-Rad, as well as our Izzet tier patrons, Ziggy and The Prater, as well as our Jeskai tier patrons, Sir Trekkie. All of you all rock and keep the lights on the way that you could not imagine. But last but not least, and you say, AT, I don't want none of that, but I just want to be able to sit with you one-on-one and work on my Meta Buster brew, or dissect your Meta Buster brew so I can make it work at my LGS. Or forget all that. I want to be able to just be able to politic better in my local LGS or in my tournament scene. Check the link down in the bio. You can get some one-on-one coaching time with me. But with that said, let's get straight into the gameplay.
We all have fans? Any pre-games?
No pre-games.
To rock?
No pregame.
Sadness on the stack, and then we can go.
Let's go untap, upkeep, drizzle. Okay. Here's a swamp. I will follow it up with this here Warehouse Tabby. It's a 1/1 cat. Whenever an enchantment I control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, I create a 1/1 black rat creature token with this creature cannot block. Then for 1 in the black, I can have Warehouse Tabby gain Death Touch, and that's it.
Okay.
You know, when the common draft shaft starts hitting the table, it is
It's
something.
gotta be a combo piece.
Got to be a guy.
W in the chat, boys. We're halfway there. I pass.
Alright, I'll draw for turn. I'll play the Scalding Tarn and I'll pass.
All right. I will untap. Just draw 1 for turn. I will play a Verdant Catacombs, and I will pass as well.
All right, I'm going to draw a card. I'm going to play this land. And then I'm going to attempt to play the Soaring.
Pass. I'm sorry.
All good.
That's my turn.
Okay, let's go with this here Ancient Tomb. No, my Adnos. And then, what do I even want to do? I guess I want to draw cards, right? I'll just play my boy here.
You
Old
got
Seph.
it.
I'll take 2 from the Ancient Tomb, cast Sephiroth. If
Got it.
Sephiroth is okay, I'll have an ETB trigger. To which end, currently, I will choose not to use.
You got
I'll
it.
pass.
Okay. Okay. On your instep, I'd like to crack and fetch.
I'll just fetch
Okay.
in response. You got it though.
Okay.
No respect. No effects.
I'm going to leave that card on top. Is it okay to move to my turn?
Yep.
End it.
I'm going to dock in this Bloodstain.
Mm-hmm.
Taking 2.
Let's go.
I'm gonna pay 2 for a Generator Servant.
Pass
Oh,
on
shit.
it.
More draft chaff. That is my turn.
Is it
Alrighty.
cool?
I'll go to
like
turn
it.
2. I'll untap Upkeep and I'll draw 1 card. I will y'all, let me be honest, I will just, no, it doesn't matter. Y'all know I have a swan song, so I'm just gonna hold up the swan song and pass.
All right, I'm going to go
Sucks.
to turn. Play a land. And then we'll drop this Wristic Steady.
With the knowns, fuck, yeah, fuck it. You got a counter spell, but fuck it. There you go. Yep. Pass on Fluster. Anybody got anything for it? Nope, nope, nope. Yep.
Nope, 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 nope.
Alrighty.
Nope.
Pass on it.
That's my turn.
Well, untap upkeep draw. Here's a swamp. I will tap 3 here, losing 2, of course. And I will cast this Warren Soul Trader.
Where's Stick Study
Another
Trigger?
card.
You may draw.
And it
Never heard
begins.
that. What?
Listen, just one time.
I will draw this card for turn. I will shock in this Watery Grave. We don't play beta alpha land here at all. We just play the
Oh.
shocks, okay?
Okay.
No, that's just the way it is.
Me neither, dude.
I will
I get you.
tap, and I'd like to cast a Kefka. Not paying
No
for it.
effects.
Wristic?
Passed.
Rude.
Wristic.
You got it.
Nice.
No effects.
Okay, I'm just gonna cast my Vamp Tutor instead of discarding it.
Mhm.
And do we get a draw?
You do, yeah.
Nice.
So what I like to do, this is also for the audience here, is because we all discard at the same time, I like to go like 1, 2, 3 show. All right, 1, 2, 3 show.
All right.
Hold on.
Beseech.
Zenith.
Vaccine Tower.
All right. That's 2 cards.
Sorcery and a land is 2 cards. Kefka will draw 2. Play this land for turn.
Wait, did you?
Yeah, didn't you play the?
I would like
the
to hold
watery?
this land here and not
I
play
like
2 lands with them.
I like it a
I
lot.
like it.
Did you know that on the bottom of this card it says whenever people discard lands, you could play extra lands?
Oh,
I forgot about
That's-
that.
that's
part.
what it
Forgot the
says.
text.
That's
Hidden
right.
text.
The
hidden
flavor.
text.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the flavor text.
I'm a
all right.
little.
Vivi, there's a Kefka trigger on attack.
Yeah. And question: you sacked the Generator Servant when you activated it, correct?
It says sacrifice to add 2, so that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, but no, I have no effects.
Respect,
Y'all ready to
respect.
discard again? 3 threat.
1, 2, 3, flip.
All right, we got a what's it called? Artifact.
Sorcery,
Sorcery.
artifact, and nothing, right?
All right.
So that's
Yeah.
a draw 2.
Yes.
Going to just pass the turn here. I have 6 cards in hand, 7 cards in hand. 4
Oh.
plus 3 is 7 all day long.
All right, untap,
All day,
upkeep.
baby.
I will draw 1 card. Yeah, I got my pitch spell. Pass the turn.
Let's go.
Okay. All right. On upkeep.
Yeah.
I'm going to play a mystical tutor, but I'm getting counter magic.
Pass some mystical.
That's it.
Alright. You got it, dude.
Okay, and then I'm going to play.
Hey,
Pass some blood moon.
Sing as well.
funny. Untap, upkeep, draw. Okay.
We might die to the mono black play. No.
Draw a card.
Not the deflection with the
Hey,
force of will in
nice.
hand.
I'll cast a Forsaken Miner.
No
Yeah,
effects.
that's
Pass
what
on
I
it.
thought.
First stick trigger.
Yeah.
I will
Where's
pay.
No
Nice.
effects.
Yeah,
I'm probably not
listen.
winning. I don't know.
You got it. No,
Yeah.
100%. He has 100%
Wait a
win
minute,
here.
wait a minute, wait a minute, wait
We
a minute.
lose here.
wait a
He has
minute,
100%
Wait
win.
a minute.
He has 100% win.
Oh shoot! Hey, Busy, we got a problem,
Yeah.
bud.
You
I
win.
know it. You see my mana?
Yep. This is a
I
100%
think
win.
I think we still lose here. Yeah. I
Yep.
think we
You
actually
counter
still
this,
lose
it goes to graveyard. He sacks the BS creature. He makes a treasure that targets a player
Yeah.
that brings a Forsaken Miner back. It's GG either way. Yep.
What's funny here
Let's
is
play-
I do have the Strix, but I tapped out for Kefka.
Oh, it's okay. We'll let you play it out, Mr. Dan. We have a Forsaken Miner on the stack.
I don't think it matters either way, actually.
You can just make him go through it.
Theoretically
We know about the Force of Will, so go in and use it, and then yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
okay,
we
I'll
counter it.
use it.
We did it. We stopped Dan, guys. We stopped him. We stopped him, guys. We stopped him.
All right. Oh,
All right.
Phyrexian. I always call him Phyrexian Miner. I don't know why I do. Forsaken Miner countered. I will then try to sacrifice the Warehouse Tabby to the Warren Soul Trader, losing a life
Yep.
to create a treasure. This will put this trigger on the stack. The death will occur, which will put Sephiroth on the stack to target a player to lose 1, and I gain 1. I'll just go ahead and target UT.
Go to 238.
And this will have the crime trigger for Forsaken Miner, which I will attempt to pay for.
Sounds good.
Back. Forsaken Miner will come back, and then I will get my treasure, and then I will proceed to sack the Forsaken Miner into the Warren Soul Trader to have a treasure, have a Sephiroth trigger, so on and so forth, sacrificing the treasures that I make along the way to keep bringing him back.
I love it. GG. You got it.
Yeah, that was clean.
GG.
Yeah?
GG's.
Sephiroth, baby!
Let's get it.
Let's go!
Thank you. Can we
Yo,
please?
MVP, basic swamps. Who would have thought, bro?
Literally.
Oh my God.
So before we, it sounds like we have time for a game too. But before we do, can we quickly do a post game podcast where we talk about what we got going on, opening hands, and all that other good stuff?
Happy to do it.
All right, talk to
I'm
us,
down.
Dan.
Yeah, let me get the accurate thing just real quick. Okay, so I had Swamp, Phyrexian Tower, the Tabby, and the Warren Soul Trader. And I bottomed a Dark Star Augur, another Swamp, and a Springleaf Drum.
Gotcha.
So this isn't like where I would love to be. Like, obviously, this is kind of more of a traditional Turbo Nos. I would say the easiest way for people to think about the Sephiroth, in my opinion, just as an easy introduction, is like fixed Varagoth. So if you guys know Varagoth was a 100% all-in Turbo Nos list that just had a native tutor on a 3-drop commander to go find your Nos and then cast it. Now, this obviously finds Nos less, but because it has a combo enabler in the command zone, you can Nos with the same kind of really liminal list, like super low mana curve. I think on average right now is floating around 1 or maybe even like a decimal lower or something like that. So my Gnaws is insane. We play an abundance of small creatures so that we can do easy Culling the Weak and things like that to present an early Gnaws. So usually I'm looking for something more in the Gnaws or Necro for turbo strategy. Otherwise, we have a bunch of different lines, creature-based combos, so we can get around interaction. We can get around things like Rhystic Study, as you saw, through Forsaken Miner, since it's just a trigger ability as opposed to a cast. So, long story short, when I'm looking at this hand, it's basically a bailout, right? Like, I'm already on a Mold of 4, but what this does tell me is I can turn 1 a creature who can, at the very least, be eaten with Phyrexian Tower to turn 2 my Warren Soul Trader. And then I'm on top decks, but I'm in a mono black, really aggressive, greedy shell. So drawing into tutors or some of my other more aggressive pieces like my Necro will pull me back into the game. So on a Mold of 4, this isn't like the worst thing I could possibly want. I wasn't going to go to 3 against Kefka because it's just like, it's getting way
you asking to lose
point.
the game at that point.
Yeah. And the cool thing, the last thing I'll say, and I know we're going to another game, is that Sephiroth is like, not even like a terrible draw engine. Like, yes, it's bad, like in the grand scheme of things, but as a mono black deck, being able to get a card here and there with all of my creatures, I run a lot of creatures that when they die do the whole like make a 1/1 thing, so it's really like a 2-for-1. So there is a way to kind of grind back in and play like a really bad mid-range plan. So this hand shows a lot of options because it also could turn to a Sephiroth. It could, you know, draw land and crack Tabby for draws and things like that. It was okay, and we got there. So
cool.
Let's go.
I fuck with it. GG. Let's slide it over to Bisy.
Yeah, I kept a 6, which was these 4 cards here: the Scolding Charm, Blood Crypt, Ottawara, Generator Servant, Consultation, Limdol's Vault, and this hand did 2 things, right? This hand, I tried to mull for turn 2 engines, but a turn 3 engine with a haste is as if I drew on turn 2 and turn 3, right? So I kept this, and then this says Thassa's Consult or Thassa's, or excuse me, whatever I need it to be, right?
Yeah.
So I essentially have a draw engine and win in hand.
Yeah, dude, that's sick.
So that's fine. My Kefka triggers were I drew a fetch for turn, and then I drew the Limdol's. Oh no, it wasn't the Limdol's Vault. It was this Molten turn, and so my Kefka triggers were these, something like this.
Got you.
Something along those lines, because I fetched for this City Sewers.
Got you.
Anyhow, these were my Kefka triggers. I thought about probing Caleb. But I was like, I triggered the Rhystic 1 more gain. Don't need to do that
for no reason.
Yeah, and then also like this here, I didn't know what you might get. It was like if it was one of those 3-drop sacking artifacts. I was like, this is fine.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
That would have stopped me if I was on like the Phyrexian altar or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm just not gonna probe. I have counter magic. Next turn I go into, I can hit the Vivi. I'm fine. I just need 1 more turn.
Right.
But no, that was you cleaned it up nicely there.
Yes.
Even though we know that the Vamp wins, it seemed like we were safe with Caleb being a responsible Magic player.
Right. That's what fair analysis as well.
So I was just looking right now. I literally don't think I have something that stops that.
Other than a Mind Break Trap. But like a hard cast.
I do have that, but it's not cast, so it still gets around it.
Like I only technically cast one.
No, a hard casted Mind Break Trap.
Yeah.
Like you don't play the Blood Moon, you cast. But granted, that is assuming that you know that he's going to get the Forsaken Miner. Granted, we could put that together. We could have had a discussion, but TTC is not trying to play it through. I want Dan to win. That's not the point. But that is our one out. I'm gonna be honest. I was like, bro, he's winning. Fuck yes, I can try again. But no, I think the Mind Break Trap was our one out into that scenario. Hard cast a Mind Break Trap, but outside of that, yeah, no. Dan cleaned that up well. Played it. Dude got the perfect. He didn't. I'm sure you run the other one as a backup as well, right? The Gravecrawler as a backup.
Yeah, it's funny. We were literally talking about it when you were setting up the stream, and we were just 3 in the chat. I was talking exactly this to Caleb about how Gravecrawler doesn't work so well because I have to cast, so I would just infinite feed a Rhystic.
100%.
So Miner is so busted for that reason.
Literally.
A word of the wise, you do need a mana on the front end because of when the triggers occur.
Right.
With Gravecrawler, you can make the treasure and then use that treasure to cast. With the miner, if you're down to 0 available mana and then you go to sack the miner, you actually have the crime trigger before the treasure fully generates.
Question. Wait. So, because you would sack it, and that would be to put a treasure on the stack. But when you sack it, that triggers the die trigger, causing the die trigger to go on top of the treasure trigger, which would do the damage. That will trigger that, and you have to pay it right then.
So it's because of how it's because the War and Soul Trader, the sacrifice and pay one is part of the cost of the ability.
Right.
So you go to put the ability on the stack and you pay the cost with the sacrifice. The ability is not currently resolving, so it's just sat on the stack.
Gotcha.
So the other static triggers will see the Forsaken Miner die when you've put that ability on the stack. Sephiroth will trigger on top of it,
Gotcha.
which will then also trigger the Forsaken Miner's crime, but at that point you've yet to generate the treasure. So if you guys are watching this stream and you're thinking like, oh, I want to pick this up, be so careful about that, dude. I have fucked myself 1,000 times. That's why I'm now the master. Tell you how to not.
I'll fuck with it. No, like I said, masterfully done. Even like I love, like, it was twofold to reasons not to get the grade quality you touched it, but I love how you thought about, hey, I have to play it through a heuristic study, plus this is force, like even before the Force of Will was known, like this can play through counter magic outside of exile effects. You know what I'm saying? So we were literally like spot removal or bust. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Which was like literally like at that point, like had Kelly maybe had a bounce spell, we could have had a different conversation. But you know, we're playing cEDH and a lot of spot removal in these streets. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, very well done, bro. Very well done. All right, I'm gonna keep my 4 very quick. I kept a Verdant Catacombs. I originally had a Copa Gearper until I realized that, oh shit, I may not have a hand. If Bisy uses rituals to help get out Kefka, I can use the Swan to at least hold my hand. And I kept a Grim and a Bolas's, and I bought him a High Fate Trickster, a Dread Return, and a Copa Gearper. The goal with this hand is top deck 2 lands, baby. Like use the Swan Song to help get to turn 3, and then turn 2 Grim Tutor, and then Bolas's. Unfortunately, in addition to my wee bit mistake, I turn 1 Beseech the Mirror. That does nothing. Turn 2, I drew a Springleaf Drum. Decided not to cast it because I'm like, I'm gonna hold up this Swan Song because they're BB. Like I have no creatures online. I have no lands in the foreseeable future holding up this Swan Song, though I could be seen as tempo negative myself. Playing the Springleaf Drum to tap out when the Swan Song can keep a card, could potentially keep a card in my hand against the Kefka, is better in my opinion. And in addition, I can just always just discard the Springleaf Drum if that's a problem. And then the last card I drew was a Defense Grid. I'm like, oh, I know what I'm discarding. So I just knew I was going to discard the Defense Grid. Notably, is it feeding Bisy's Mnemonic Betrayal? Yeah, but at this point, I'm just trying to get a couple more lands. But outside that, like I said, very good win, very good clean win. I was happy because I'm like, I don't have to sit through. And if we see here, my next card would have been a Culling of the Week. Next card is a Daze. Next card is a Swamp. So I was sitting here and doing nothing.
Dude,
so thank you for getting me.
Mold to 4, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I could have gone down to 3, but same conversation you had. Do I mold down to 3 against a Kefka who's going to be stripping my hand? In addition, I'm like, best universe, I get out at turn 3 Bolas. That's a game plan. I can rock with that, you know. So, but that was my hand. That was the game plan. But thank you, I got out that game. Let's pass it over to Caleb.
I got you.
Yeah, my hand was
bro.
like
I got you,
an easy 6 to keep. I had Otawara into Soaring, and then the plan was we just played a Ristic turn 2, and then we got choices turn 4. We can either copy the Kefka, or we can go ahead and turn off everyone's lands. And then we had protection for the Ristic. Drew into an island.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty hot. I mean, turn 2
that's-
risk,
that's-
dude. Like, how can you?
You can't. Yeah,
Yeah, you gotta keep it, right? You gotta
keep it. Even on seat 4, like you give them the window, but with the Flusterstorm up, yeah, I'm giving you a window, but I have a way to protect my Ristic. Plus, like if y'all do anything instant sorcery space, I can stop it.
It's interesting to
Oh, go
hear
on.
how much each of you said, oh, I can't do this because the Kefka trigger's coming at some point in my lifetime, right?
Right.
It's super cool to hear.
Yeah.
Well, that's the cool part of Kefka, dude. Like,
Yeah.
like I think it's the first genuinely viable commander that does that
Hand
hand
hate.
pressuring, right?
Yeah.
Like, yes, exactly. Like attacking opponent's resources in hand. This is the first and maybe that's audacious. I don't know about others, but this feels like the first like really legitimate piece of hate And if you really think about the trade-off, right? Like if your opponents are going down 3 and you rip a draw 2, like you have created 5 cards worth of advantage. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's still massive.
that's
100%.
insane, right? And that's even if you're just drawing 2 on average, which you demonstrated, right? So
Literally.
Yep.
Yeah. That's why, like, when Bisy first told me that he was brewing Kefka, I was like, because my play style, y'all know I play more to the hand. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm either turboing out a win or I'm playing to the hand. I'm not sitting there and just joking. I'm not making a big board stay. I'm not playing rock thrash. I'm like, I'm gonna just win when I feel like I need to win. But when I thought about it, the more I thought about Kefka, like, how does my play style play against it? The best outcome is like I have to, even in turboless, find a way to get card advantage or win before the Kefka can really fuck my entire game plan up. Similar to what Dan did, he won before the Kefka could like strip away his entire game plan. So it's either you go Ristic Fish, Necro, Sylvan Library, so whatever you can do, or the One Ring or something like that, or you pivot to I gotta just win before they just fuck my entire hand up. Because he even got rid of a multi-duplication, which can cause another trigger and another attack. You know what I'm saying? So he takes another 6 cards out the table on his next turn. Had he not, I'm sure I'd love to ask why you decided to get rid of the Molten, but no, but like that's another 6 cards after getting rid of 6 cards on turn 3. Yeah, 6 cards on turn 3.
It'd be 4 more. So like if I had kept the Molten, I Molten the Kefka would enter, and then there would be a legend rule. I'd legend rule the Molten away to keep my OG Kefka, and then I attack with OG Kefka. So it'd be the same thing where my opponents discard 2, and then I probably draw. There was 2 last turn. I bet I draw 5. Oh no, you had no hand, so I draw 2 again. So I draw 2 and 2, so I go 4.
Right.
So it's probably like a
you
pretty good
do
idea
eventually
to get rid of
get
Molten.
Right.
Yeah, because he had no hand and you had no hand, so it's literally just my hand.
Literally.
Yeah,
Well,
it's literally
I
just
did.
so
No, I had a
it's
hand
such a
left,
clean win.
Oh my bad.
No, I had
It's
such
a
the
clean
3
win.
cards
I
left,
just
but it
was like, if I untap like with those draws, which is why I discarded the Molten, then I don't have to play any more spells. I just sit. I could counter creatures. I could counter any of the Ophidianized stuff with this REB. I don't have to play spells anymore until I mean,
if we're being
exactly
realistic, like down to 1 Kefka trigger a turn at that point in the game, that's still impressive. Like you don't.
I'm fine. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
You know
you winning was so clean. Like I was tapped out. TTC's effectively tapped out.
Yeah. No.
And
Yeah.
then like even the vamp came at the right time because I didn't have the interaction yet. I drew into it.
Yeah, and this is why like I was saying like I didn't sack the warehouse tabby. Like it's another like you have to pay attention sometimes to like your long game, right? Like I knew eventually I might need the warehouse tabby to help me get another crime trigger or a treasure off of Warren Soul Trader instead of just going for a quick draw, especially knowing I'm against Kefka. It's actually an advantage to me to let myself go Hellbent because this deck can top deck relatively well, and I'm not feeding advantage. And like you guys saw, like if I draw into a tutor, especially something like Vamp, like being able to play around the trigger in a way that like I actually lose a card in hand while setting up, you know, like it.
If I can add one more things and give you your flowers here, like I took 2 things. I tell people all the time, don't criticize someone's plays until you know what they're doing. For example, I'm notably to the Ristic Sturdy feed, you know, with the 1 mana open, you know what I'm saying? And 2, I tell people, if you're going to feed a fish heuristic, don't make no fish heuristic pack. Just either win the game or have a plan for the mana that you're using. And Dan did both of those. He intentionally didn't feed the heuristic to cast the vampiric tutor to get him into his next win. Had he paid for the heuristic study, we already knew he was going to get the 2 card discards, but he loses his entire hand because he's trying to play responsibly. But on the flip side, you know what I'm saying? If he was just not paying for heuristic because, I don't give 2, I want to. The line people say, I want Vivi to have stuff to stop Kefka. I'm like, bro, no. Like, we don't know what Vivi like draws, but those are 2 like play lines that are very important. Like, think about whether can you win the game or stop the person you're feeding cards to, and in addition, why? You know what I'm saying? Think about those lines fully through, and that's just another play pattern that's going to serve people as they play cEDH. You know, thinking those steps ahead like Dan did in this example. So I know that was a very only 15-minute game, but there was, as you all can see, there was a lot of layers of thought that went across everything from the mulligans to the finish line. So yeah.
That's the cool thing about cEDH.
Why you go for the Ristic there? I was just curious why you go for the Ristic there.
Fully transparent because we were going to get drowned.
I think I respect the play to stop the Rhystic there because Kefka doesn't care really, like since it's a creature, right? Like Kefka being a creature-based draw engine doesn't get hit by the Swan Song, and I'm also a creature combo deck at heart, right? Like I do have lines that would like to use spells, but I already had like, you know what I mean, like a known portion of a creature-based combo, so like I get it, and Rhystic is crazy.
It's more well, it's my two reasons. So the short reason is we would have got drowned in value. You know what I'm saying? Even a seat 4 turn 2 risk is crazy. You know, and I knew you had the counter spell, but I'm like, to be honest, bro, like use it. Especially because in a Vivi deck, you want to what you're missing in your deck is cards. You know what I'm saying? You have the mana, you have the outlet, you just need cards. But the main thing is, and the reason I say that most people like have a thought process before you take action is my cards in here are Grim Monolith. I can't pay for Rhystic if I draw a land. And a Bolas's Citadel, I can't pay for Rhystic as I'm trying to Bolas's. So in the perfect universe where I get land next turn to play Grim Monolith, I can't pay for that Rhystic, so that's one guaranteed draw. And when I finally get the mana to cast my Bolas's Citadel, it's not if you stop me, it's when you stop me. I'm just giving you the game, because all you need to do is wait for me to like hit, like I'm going through Sensei's top. You wait till I hit an Aether Flux, you either Mind Break, Trap, or fucking counter that stiff shit. And unless I have a Yawgmoth's Will, that stunk is staying in the graveyard. And so you can intentionally just let me overfeature Rhystic Study. So it was a mixture of, it's a good card, it helped, it was too helpful to your game plan, but it was also too antagonistic to my game plan, which like I already knew Kefka was going to hit my hand, you know what I'm saying? So like at this point, I'm going for how fast can I win? Can I luckily hit the 2 lands off top? Didn't work out that way, but that was my intention with the still hitting the Rhystic Study, knowing you probably had the counter match. I was like, fuck it, but that was my
that
intention.
makes good sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I didn't even think about that, but that's so true. Your line was Citadel, which
that was my out. Like if it doesn't work, fuck it.
Yeah, because I was like, man, Kefka just drew like an entire hand. but now that you say like the bolus is Citadel, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I'm not in the king making business. But honestly though, only thing I got left to say to the audience is thank you all for being an amazing audience. You all rock, and just thank you so much. I want to say a huge shout out to Dan, Caleb, and Bisy Baxton, aka Nate, for just making all this possible. They rock. But if you're looking for more ways to support the show, we have a plethora, starting off with our TC community. It's free to join on Discord. Check the link out in the bio if you want to talk about spoilers, brewing, as well as play games with me, Dan, and Caleb, and Bisy Baxton, and a bunch of other great pilots. But if you say, hey, TTC, I want a little bit more, I want to support you, don't worry. Check the link out in the bio. You are able to join the Thunder Legion Patreon. These amazing guys get awesome perks like shoutouts on our YouTube videos and streams. Thank you for the sub. These amazing guys get awesome perks like getting shouts on our YouTube videos and streams, playing on our live streams, as well as free proxies and discount codes. But if you say, AT, I don't want the Patreon, the proxies, or the perks. I want to say one time for the fun time that I love what you do, and I honestly want to learn from you. How do you make these fringe decks work? How do you make your politics work? Bro, like, teach me your ways. Check the link out in the bio. I offer one-on-one coaching so I can take you to the greatness